Hello and welcome to Talkin Jake. Myself, Jake Storielli, going through the world of sports. Mostly the World Series that is going on right now. We'll check in on the football at the end because it was a fun weekend. Good little Sunday getaway from the World Series. And there's a reason they don't compete with them. Yeah, a lot of World Series. A lot of the Yankees down 2-0. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about a path out. We'll talk about a path not out. And maybe LA starts planning a parade in a couple hours because if the Yankees lose tonight, it's Jover. If you have no idea what happened this weekend, I guess we can catch you up a little bit. The Yankees lost game 1 on Friday night, a game they could have had. They couple defensive miscues. The only one that I'm salty about is the Gleyber Torres. There's a throw in from Juan Soto to the infield. Shohei Ohtani off the wall. Soto gets it in. He has a bobble that it was hit so hard, even though Shohei's running, they could have potentially had a chance at him. Once he bobbles it, Shohei's going to get in there. But there was a really good clip posted by I think it was MLB Network because it was Harold Reynolds talking about the Yankees' relay throw defense, which if any of you have tuned into Talkin Yanks this year, it's something that Jimmy's been on. I've been on with them. That however they do their relay system, it just hasn't been an organized product this year. And I don't know if it's Volpe being a young player and Gleyber being an offensive player, to talk about his defense nicely. Joe's McFly sent me the Harold Reynolds clip on Instagram late last night, so that's how you know it's good. If you go watch the replay, the kind of zoomed out camera angle, both Gleyber and Volpe go out to right field. And then there's kind of this moment of like, oh shoot, someone has to cover the bag. Gleyber runs back to second base, so he turns his head from the ball, so he's not watching the play. The ball kind of medium, short hops him. Gleyber goes for the pick. Ball scoots off his glove. Shohei Ohtani, a reminder, a topic that we've covered on this show multiple times, and it always befuddles me. Not only can he pitch, not only can he hit, he's one of the fastest players in the league. That bounce allows him to go to third base. The Dodgers get their second sac fly in the game, which has them tied at 2s. Game goes to extra, and even from there, Yankees are a pitch away. I guess it can be covered here because there are some people that aren't just Talkin Yanks fans. The highlight that goes down in that game is Nestor comes in out of the bullpen, which a moment that'll be forgotten in history is Nestor gets Shohei to pop up, foul out. Verdugo makes a crazy catch down. I was going to call it the sideline. Wow. It's going to be one of those days. Verdugo makes a crazy catch, literally falls into the stands that allows the runners to advance. And then Freddie Freeman, first pitch, walk-off grand slam. A lot of people arguing for Tim Hill. I was surprised how logical we were about it with the Shohei and Freddie lane. Tim Hill being like one of the highest contact pitchers that has played this game in recent memory. With Shohei Ohtani up, it wasn't a great matchup. I realize these guys are going to face off at some point in the series, and Tim Hill has been really, really good for the Yankees, and Tim Hill was the easier button to push.
He's been playing.
The Yankees know that he's a reliever. Nestor hadn't pitched in a month. Tim Hill was the button to push, and maybe the Yankees did overthink it, and they went to Nestor, and they were trying to get the strikeout, pop-out type stuff. He got Shohei. He didn't get Freddie. Freddie hits a nuke, walk-off grand slam. Tim Hill, ironically, comes in the next game, looks really good. I think he got Freddie to pop out, and then he struck out, I think, the next hitter. So, yeah, you can play that, and you can relive that, and it's scary with the Yankees' lack of bullpen depth. at least at this point, depth that they truly believe in. Because, Mark Leiter Jr. has another good outing, but that game one really stings. The game one was the game I thought the Yankees would have. Garrett Cole was really good. And the other thing that James was harping on a little more than me that I do partially agree with is they took Garrett Cole out earlier, which has a ripple effect in the bullpen. They took Garrett Cole out at 88 pitches, I believe. Yep. 88 pitches, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Only that sacrifice fly in the 5th inning. They pull Garrett Cole before Max Muncy comes up to go to Clay Holmes, which the lefties are a bad matchup for Clay Holmes. That it was weird. Clay Holmes is pitching around Muncy, actually ends up hitting him. That you're like, okay, even if we could have got one more out from Garrett Cole to Muncy there, there was 2 righties that maybe the ripple effect is different and you don't have to bring in Luke Weaver earlier, and maybe Luke Weaver's pitching in that 10th inning. What I'm hopefully interested to see, the Yankees have never managed like extra inning games exist, which has always gotten to me. Like I realize there's a limited chance games go to extra innings, but also games do go to extra innings. Mm-hmm. And like, note the percentages again. I'm sure the Yankees and the Dodgers have the 2nd and the 3rd largest analytics crew. And we had a funny episode with Eno last year that he talked about the depths of the Yankees analytics that don't get counted. Mm-hmm. Saris told us there's a guy in Australia that just runs balls into bats to see what the data shows. That wasn't exactly it, but that was kind of it.
Wasn't not it.
Like, games don't go to extra innings unless they're really close late. And, like, I feel like the Yankees haven't added that to their formula. Like, 6% of games go to extra innings. Well, if they're tied or 1 run late, the chances of them going extra innings are very high.
Yeah. At a certain point, it becomes...
I'm not a numbers guy.
I understand philosophically to a degree, like, manage to win, not to lose.
Right. You should be managing to win, but you should know there's
an game.
In a tie, there's a chance a game could go to extras. Anyways,
Cole's, as an aside, hasn't broken 90 pitches in the playoffs. I know a little bit of that is like how playoffs get managed, but like it stuck out.
Yeah, there's 2 things going through my mind right now with the Cole getting pulled at 88 pitches. Sure, it's game 1, fresh bullpen. Yankees don't manage for extra innings, whatever. I'm guessing, because something we talk about in this world of arms and injuries and not knowing anything, World Series pitches count more. They just do. There's more focus. There's more intensity. That we talk about this whenever there's like a no-hitter or perfect game that, if it's a 5-0 game and you're out there just twirling it and it's light and easy, those pitches do have less of an effect on your arm. If it's a 1-run game and you're fighting tooth and nail in the World Series even, that has more of an effect on your arm. You're using it a little bit differently. Stress. How about that? I really do believe this in my core, and I have no info or anything to back it up. The Yankees pulling Garrett Cole at 88 pitches, I think they believe in the World Series strain on the pitches. I think they believed that this series was at least going 5 games, which lines Garrett Cole up for game 5. That part of their thought process was, if we keep Garrett under 90, he's going to be that much better for game 5. I think that. And obviously there's some logic there. But the Muncy part of it was really weird that, do you give Cole one more batter, but Max Muncy has a good at bat, and now he's up to 97 pitches, and now you've thrown that theory out the window with your rested bullpen. I'm not fully sure. But the Yankees lose game 1, and if I'm being completely honest, I Game 1 was the Yankees to win. It was Cole on the bump. Flaherty, and I heard this from brother Jeff Passan, and it wasn't like private. He said it on Rosillo's pod. Jack Flaherty in the start he got lit up against the Mets was supposedly pretty sick. So, I don't know. That's something. And after seeing his Game 1 start, where he, again, looked good, you say, okay, that's now 2 really good starts he's had this postseason, 2 bad ones. Let's see where Jack is at for Game 5. Because, sure, maybe my guy, Jack Flaherty, was sick in that second game. Maybe his arm is running out of some steam that we're going to, if we see him in Game 5 and his velo has ticked down like it did in the second Mets start, then my pitching theory about the World Series pitches and more stress, if there's a Game 5 and Garrett Cole comes out and looks electric and Jack Flaherty does not, you might be able to point at that Game 1 and say, well, they saved some Cole bullets. He's only pitched half a season, where Jack, I have to figure at this point is close to his innings record, at least definitely in recent years. Maybe some of those young Cardinal seasons plus postseason he got there. This version of Jack Flaherty is in a new world of innings.
196 in 2019, and then a few injury years. 144 last year, 162 this year in the regular season. So that's before playoffs even begin. A 20-inning jump on last year, which was a big jump on the 3 previous years.
So yeah, there's, and I am gonna start spinning this into some Yankee hope, like I did with some of the Garrett Cole stuff a little bit, and then that Game 2. The box score may tell you a different story by the end. The Yankees got 1 hit through 8 innings, and that 1 hit was a Juan Soto homer. Yamamoto looked great. I thought Yamamoto would be a tough matchup for the Yanks, and the other thing is Yamamoto good. I gave you guys the butter knife stat. If you take out his first start, which was middle to late May in Korea, March.
His numbers in the United States,
really good.
Very good.
I think he landed in like the 2.5 for the season. His first season of Major League Baseball. Again, it was half a season he got banged up.
Yeah.
But
removing that one start, but
even with that one start, it was 3 flat. So like Yamamoto, for what he was hyped up to be, kind of was that guy. And he goes 6.1, 1 earned run, 1 hit, only 2 walks, 86 pitches. I was worried about the Yamamoto start, Game 2 in L.A., and the Yankees were hamstrung for a lot of that game. They end up putting up a rally, and they get to Blake Treinen again, who, watching that guy in the Mets series, I didn't know if we would get to him this series. They've gotten to Treinen both times. And they had action on the bases. It ends with a Jose Trevino pinch hit. First pitch fastball, puts a good swing on it. Not enough of it. It's caught for an out. Yanks lose that 4-2. Rodon kind of just slipped up. Tommy Edman to lead off an inning. And then he gets Shohei Ohtani swinging on a nasty slider for 2 outs in the third. Mookie Betts, who he had owned, Carlos Rodon had Mookie Betts 1 for 19 in his career. Mookie got 2 hits against him, which allows Teoscar to come up, big 2-run homer, Freddie Freeman back-to-back, and 4 runs is enough, which has 4 runs has been enough in both games for the Dodgers, because the Yankees' offense is really what has come into question. Like I mentioned briefly, the Yankees' bullpen came into that second game and looked good again. Hill with a really good outing, Clay Holmes, and Mark Leiter clean. That the Yankees are coming back to New York, so the Dodgers take 2 in L.A. Series doesn't start until the road team wins a game. I hope that's true. I don't fully believe in that yet. That I'll segue into the dumb, obvious point of tonight's game is massive. It's Game 3. It's in the Bronx. It's a little chillier out. It's Clarke Schmidt on the bump starting the game for the New York Yankees, who maybe Clarke Schmidt deserves, well, I guess I guess I'll let you know after tonight if Clarke Schmidt deserves more love. But he's 28 years old. He had 16 starts to the tune of a 2.85 this year. Clarke Schmidt was really, really good. His postseason appearances have been strong. He threw 4.2 two-earned runs against Kansas City, 4.2 two-earned runs against Cleveland. And okay, Cleveland and Kansas City, a popular conversation in the office this weekend. Different opponents than the Dodgers, but those Clarke lines could have looked better. I believe that final Cleveland start, there was a judge ball in center that he should have got to, that would have been 5 innings and 1. Kansas City, his first playoff start. So Clarke has felt strong on the mound. And for the Yankees, I mean, it spikes on for everyone. Like, you have to win this game. People are wondering if, like, Cole is going to have the spikes on for this one. It's a do-or-die game. Let's see what Clarke's got. It feels like he's been strong this season. The Dodgers are a totally different animal. What the Yankees do have going for them, it's not fully Walker Buehler. Although, Walker Buehler, he had a tough regular season. His last start in the postseason was 4 clean against the Mets. The phrasing that I really liked on Talkin Baseball, he's had 2 starts this postseason. San Diego, 5 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. New York Mets, 4 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. I think the San Diego wasn't as bad as it felt. He got Fernando'd hard. He battled through that game. For me, the Mets start wasn't as good as the final result. They had a couple innings where they had action on the bases. It didn't come through for them. That, per usual in life, the answer lies somewhere in the middle, IMO. The Dodgers are bullpenning Game 4. No matter what happens, they are bullpenning Game 4. That if you get a lead on Walker Buehler, which you can, in the Bronx, World Series game, season on the line, you're down 2-0. You got to get a lead on Walker Buehler because then Dave Roberts will not use his good bullpen. He will not use Trinan. He will not use Kopech. We haven't seen Hudson yet or Brazier. The lefties are interesting to me. Banda pitched the first 2 games of the series. So if they don't have to use him today, they would not. They would not. Vesia's interesting because he only throws 1 pitch in the final game. So I don't know. Again, I think if Dave Roberts doesn't have to use him because he's such a valuable asset for them, especially through that lefty lane in the Yankees lineup at the bottom, I think he would not. Like, if the Dodgers go down in this game, it's probably Buehler to Honeywell for as long as they can get. And then depending where the game is, they would try Kasparius, or you can see what Brazier or Hudson looks like. But the Dodgers have a full 9 innings they have to cover the next day and try to win. And let's say the Yankees do win. Then it's a 2-1 series. So you've got a bullpen day to not allow the Yankees to tie up the series and win their 2 home games and set up Garrett Cole in Game 5 to potentially take the series lead. There is a path there for the Yankees that can be exciting. But obviously, without tonight, it's nothing. If you lose tonight, if Walker Buehler drops 4 shut piece on you, well, here comes the good bullpen again. Clarke Schmidt gets hit around a little bit. Here comes the good bullpen again, and you're down 3-0, and the series is over. I know the Yankees were a part of, on the wrong side of the only 3-0 comeback in baseball history. Don't let us get one, Chris Rose's old friend. Mm-hmm. But that, I genuinely think for baseball, that's once in a lifetime. I'm sure we'll probably see it again. Who knows if it's within 3 years, if it's within 3 decades, I have no clue. But you can't go down 3-0 to this Dodgers team. There's too much talent. They're a team that can put up a 5 spot in any inning. That's You're not going to go down 3-0 and come back. You win tonight. The path is laid out decently. I'm depicting probably the bullpen day in too easy of a light. Bullpen days are brutal, bro. There's a new
Super
pitcher.
not fun.
There's a new pitcher every time, and it's the postseason, so they usually look nasty, and it just feels like you don't have an opportunity to get to a guy. That bullpen days can be the absolute worst. Now, if you get the first guy, then you start licking your chops, and you're like, okay, there's going to be a second guy. But bullpen days can be absolutely brutal, but you have the Cole insurance policy in Game 5. And, hey, Dodger fans would be listening to this saying, hey, we ended up beating Cole in Game 1. Kind of. You beat some of the other Yankees' weaknesses in their defense and their lineup depth. All of this is without talking about Aaron Judge, the captain, the AL home run record king, the guy that came close to beating his record this season. He has been a negative. He has been a negative, not neutral, not like, oh, he got a walk and a hit here and whatever. He has been a negative. With the Yankees' bottom of the lineup being weak right now, it's made the top of the lineup even more pitchable. You could pitch around Soto if you need to. With Judge out, it makes Stanton, or Judge being out, it makes Stanton easier to pitch to. Stanton led off 2 innings in the last game, which that's ideal for LA. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Yankees do with their lineup. I could see it going both ways. I could see them being proud and saying, hey, we're the Yankees. We almost won Game 1. Aaron Judge is going to be the American League MVP. No, we're not changing. And there's part of me that likes that. There's part of me that's like, okay, be the Yankees. That's something we say a lot. That's a shirt we have in the store, I believe. Mm-hmm. That if they roll that lineup out and Judge has a day and they win, you say, yeah, we should have won Game 1. Maybe we got to some of their bullpen today. Let's win the bullpen game, and we got Cole coming. Let's be the Yankees. Let's roll the same lineup out there. We've been in both of these games. Game 2, they showed signs of life at the end, which I'm not going to discount. I like that a lot more than not showing signs of life at the end. There's part of me that gets that. There's part of me that does not. There's been a lot of history lessons going around the office about the 96 Yankees, and they lost the first 2 games to the Braves. They came out in the 3rd game. Tom Glavine on the bump, obviously lefty. Inside information. That they sat Paul O'Neill. They sat Tino Martinez. There's a third, Wade Boggs. So Hall of Famer, Wade Boggs. Paul O'Neill, Yankees number retired. And Tino Martinez, if there was a Mariners-Yankees Hall of Fame, he would be at the entrance. Go look at some of Tino's stats if you don't know. Some big boy seasons. Now, the other side of that doesn't get fully covered is that the Yankees had bench options. Darryl Strawberry, one of the quickest swings in baseball history. Who else did they go to? It's Charlie Hayes.
Cecil Fielder out of DH into the
Cecil Fielder, those Yankees. Again, something I think analytics is Mitch having real veteran bench pieces. Go look at the Dodgers. There is some serious value there, especially in moments like this. The Yankees don't have that. What they do have is Giancarlo Stanton being the scariest, biggest threat in this series. He drives in a run in the 2nd game. He hits the home run in the 1st game. He's been dialed in this postseason. He's been dialed in every postseason. One of the things that I've stumbled into that, again, this isn't just me, but if I can get Jimmy to tilt his head, that means I've done something. Do what the other team doesn't want. And they don't want to see Giancarlo Stanton. In a perfect world, the Yankees would move Stanton up to 3. He protects Soto. You'd move Judge down to 5 to stretch out the lineup. And you put a lefty between Stanton and Judge. And it makes the lefty lane at the bottom of the lineup tougher to navigate. And in theory, if it calms Judge down, it could stretch out the top of that lineup. It'll be interesting because everything I said about the Yankees being the Yankees and run it back out there. You almost won game 1. Win game 3. I get that. There's also something you might need to make a change in these World Series games. This is a do or die game. It's where I'm almost, I don't want to say I'm relaxed, but I'm a little relaxed for tonight's game because it's, to quote the late, great Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. That was actually Yoda. Like for me tonight, if the Yankees lose, they fucked up. And it's over. You had a chance in game 1. Whatever happens tonight, happens tonight. Like, if you go down 3-0 to the Dodgers, sorry, guys. In this historic series, the path to the World Series starts looking like the path the Yankees had to the World Series. Cleveland and Kansas City, no offense, but not the wagons that the Dodgers look like. And they have it out there for them tonight. The stadium's going to be rocking. Yankee fans are nuts right now. The World Series, have you seen the shots from Billy's? Have you seen our live streams? The stadium's going to be rowdy. And you have an opportunity to go get this game and make this a series. And even, I don't want to say easily run off 3 in a row. If they win tonight, they're going to be favorites in the next 2 baseball games. Bullpen day and Cole game. So, for me, I kind of angry Italian coach, arms crossed on the sideline. Prove it to me. You win tonight, and I'm pretty much all in. You lose tonight, and it's over. So, that's where I'm at. Yankees, you control your fate still. You obviously don't want to drop the first 2. But if you don't win tonight, then it was nothing. Then you weren't really a part of this series. You're doing your back end. So, going to be very interested to see when that lineup comes out. Are they going to press a small button? And are they going to put someone like Dominguez in? Are they going to hit a large button and move Judge up, move Judge down? I don't know. I think Yankee fans, the assumption is they're not going to do anything, right?
I would, if we were odds making,
yes.
I think we do a lot of pie charts around here. The biggest slice odds wise is same lineup.
Nothing. We will see. Dodgers, they held home serve. If you believe in script writers and sports, I mean, this historic World Series, if the Dodgers sweep this, you can't believe in that ever again because the ratings are incredible. Our numbers are incredible. So, hey, if that stuff is real, throw some juicy balls in there for the Yanks. Easy peasy.
If that's a thing that exists.
Why not? We'll be excited to watch tonight. Yankees have it laid out in front of them. We mentioned those Vegas odds with the lineup. The thing that has had me spinning is with a guaranteed bullpen game 4, that you truly cannot leave that honest lefty lane at the bottom of the lineup. They have to change something. Whether it's sliding Judge down or even Stanton 5, which would feel so crazy, you have to do something. For me, I in classic Jake form, I would combine a couple things. I would probably leave the top the same. I would probably leave Aaron Judge 3 and say, hey, dude, if we need to beat the Dodgers, you need to be a form of Aaron Judge. I would put Dominguez in left. I can't shake it. He's a switch hitter. They're currently not using him because they need defense in left field. Hey, you need a lead. There's a bullpen day tomorrow. You need a lead. It genuinely in my head isn't nuts if if the offense could bop, if you could get a 4-1 lead in the third inning, pull them. But you need to get a lead. And right now, Verdugo at the plate is nothing. He is not a threat.
Even like not making it about Verdugo specifically, it's too many guys that I'm not worried about hitting a home run if I'm the Dodgers.
There is
like even guys contributing like Rizzo, Glaber, Volpe to a lesser extent hasn't done much this series yet, but the guys who are contributing are still like, I'm not worried about him hitting a homer.
Anthony Rizzo, who
that's the easiest button to press,
has been great this postseason, but he has not homered since June 13th.
The Yankees haven't had a homer from first base since July 30th or 31st.
Anthony Volpe has 2 extra base hits since September or something like that. There's no thump down there that you can not offend your superstars, be the quote-unquote Yankees, and still attack this game while changing up the bottom of the lineup with a potential winning move and a winning move for the next day, because you got to get rid of that lefty lane on a bullpen day. For me, that feels like the smartest, easiest button to press. And if you lose Game 3 of the World Series, because, I mean, again, I knock on any wood I got in here, but if you lose Game 3 of a World Series because of rookie defensive miscues in the first 5 innings of Game 3 at the World Series at home down 2-0, then I don't think you had the team to win the World Series. Like, I think that just becomes the honest part of it. So, tune into the Talkin Yanks pregame show, even if you're not a Yankee fan, because there should be some interesting combos around that. And the live streams have been fun and electric, and hopefully we get fun and electric out of the Pinstripers tonight. All that was brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. The chill is actually in the air now. And like we're about to talk about some football every weekend. Crazy red zone yesterday. Anxiety. And right now, at the DraftKings Sportsbook, it's the #1 place to bet touchdowns. All new customers who bet $5 instantly get $200 in bonus bets when you use code BAKERS. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code BAKERS. Bet just $5 on any wager. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code BAKERS only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Let us go through the football from the weekend, because I did get to drink it in. College slate, light. Notre Dame rolled Navy. Tough. NFL was fully locked in. It goes back. What's the date today? Today's October 28th. Jeepers creepers. Thursday night in the Wayback Machine. The Rams beat the Vikings. Trevor Plouffe in attendance. Part of Matthew Stafford's bride tribe. Huge win for the Rams. Keeps them basically as a part of this season. The Vikings, they dropped to 5-2. Rams are 3-4, 3-1 at home. How about that? And boy, did they look different, because Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Those are 2 big ones, huh? And I think it's funny. Justin Pennick, who does Talkin Giants and football stuff and has appeared on here a few times, he got me the other day. I think when last year at some point, he was talking about how important wide receivers are. And I thought that was interesting just because it felt like a generation ago it wasn't that. Like a generation ago, it was almost like, look at these teams. It's all about the lines. Get it on the lines, and you figure it out on the outside. And if you have 1 or 2 targets, the Chiefs let Tyreek Hill go. Whatever. You need the wideouts now, and that's what Pennick said. And look at his New York Giants, although they're kind of not still a part of any conversation. We'll find out tonight. Big Steelers game. Look at the Eagles when they didn't have A.J. Brown. Like, that team looked dead, and they looked kind of back this week. That I think, look at the Eagles, look at the Rams during this game. Getting one of those guys back would have been huge. They got them both back. The Rams look completely different. 3 and 4, so much different than 2 and 5. The Rams back being a part of this season. Vikings, they had their chances in this game. The Stafford touchdown pass to Kupp, where he got out of 2 very large men's hands. You really like to have that one back. And there was a couple of those plays. Both these teams should be fun watches the rest of the way. Good connection between the head coaches there. Good tall, small convo. Which leads us to Sunday, Bloody Sunday. And the Eagles, this was a big where Jake was wrong. I thought the Bengals, I keep thinking the Bengals are going to rejoin this season and be Joe Burr and the Bengals and get scary. The Bengals are 0-4 at home. Woof. And the Eagles steamroll them after not scoring in the first quarter again. It's a little caveat. They were driving at the end of the first quarter and the clock ran out. They haven't scored in the first quarter this year, which is just insanity. But they put up double-digit points in every other quarter to win 37-17. It looks like they're starting to find what made them the scary Eagles. Saquon with another 100-yard game. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 20. So that's an efficient 20 passes. Like, this is what an Eagles box score used to look like. Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. The tush push is back. I think he jumped to second in Eagles history in rushing touchdowns in this game. Meanwhile, on the Cincinnati side, I don't know. I don't know if they're feeling the Joe Mixon loss more than people would have expected, because he's looked great for the Texans when he's been out there. But Cincinnati's season is spiraling, and seeing that 0-4 at home means there's a lot of roadies coming up. I don't know. I was buying Bengals stock. I thought this was going to be their bounce back. I thought they were going to be a part of the, like, check out who we need to see this week. It's kind of the other way, and this was the Eagles that we used to remember. A power run game. Jalen Hurts with some accurate passes. I feel like that is his passing superpower. Dropped a couple in the bucket. Devontae Smith also really good. 37-17. Eagles are back. The Baltimore Ravens. I think if I had to pick a Super Bowl team, I'm in on them. Told you how much they won me over with Derrick Henry's dominance. It's what makes sports beautiful, is sometimes you just run into the wrong thing at the wrong time. And for whatever reason, that wrong thing at the wrong time was Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. 1-6 after booing Deshaun Watson's season-ending injury. Jameis Winston comes in, 334 yards. He almost has the horrible Jameis interception on that final drive. It's in Hamilton's arms. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and he just drops it. And then Jameis drops a deep ball dime the next play for Cleveland to win 29-24. Jameis is awesome. The post-game pressers are just ridiculous. Everything he does is ridiculous. It's like a beautiful thing. My buddies are just obsessed with his content. He quotes Eminem after the game. And, you know, I mentioned DraftKings before. I had a couple buddies. I think they won a plus 2,200 bet yesterday that was Jameis to lead the NFL in passing on Sunday. On 334 did it. So, and that led a conversation of what's your favorite bet you ever won. That was a fun conversation in the group chat. Mine was probably, I had a huge Yankees parlay, Oswaldo to homer at the Orioles game I went to this year. It's crazy. Really, really dumb bet.
Got silly with it.
Sound off in the chat. What's your favorite bet you ever won? Browns let's make a movie. Like, let's go nuts. Jameis, get hot. And the Ravens, I think this is just what it is. Divisional game. Their foot kind of came off the gas a little bit playing the Browns. Not worried about them at all. Still really like them. Team I probably need to really like more. And I do like this team, but I guess maybe I'm just looking at the jersey too much. The Detroit Lions. They rout the Tennessee Titans 52-14. The Lions, it was the biggest they've been favored in a game, maybe ever, or I don't know, 90s. Should have that number. I don't. Point is, they were favored against another NFL team, and the Titans kind of came out punch for punch at first. They dominated. The defense kicked into gear turnover-wise. Jared Goff with a Madden video game stat line, 12 for 15 passing, 85 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Because they could do whatever they wanted running the ball. Gibbs, 11 for 127. Whenever they needed to pass it, they had it. And they just were a dominant, better team in this game. And sometimes that's tough in the NFL to go from, the fun upstart Lions to heaviest favorites in a long time. They didn't care. Dan Campbell and Goff and everything they have going on there is powerful stuff that they probably should be my Super Bowl favorites. I still just like what the Ravens can do a little bit more. Lamar's postseason history, whatever. Cardinals-Dolphins, the Cardiac Cardinals, they win on another last-second field goal in another game that it looked like they were out of. Tua comes back, which is cool. The play where he runs and gets a first down and the crowd goes nuts. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Stay healthy, Tua. But on the other side, Kyler. 307 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Didn't really run the ball, only 5 rushing attempts. So Kyler can stay back there and throw it, which is just really nuts for his general size. Trey McBride, who just feels like the tight end on your fantasy board that it's like you should take him this pick, and you're just like, I don't think I can pull the trigger. 9 for 124 on National Tight End Day. It got me mad, like a lot of sports fans, because it's not a real thing. But the NFL really pushed it. That memo got out. And I'm interested to see if people really revolt and hate National Tight End Day and it's gone, or if people just enjoy the humor of a fake made-up holiday. Are the other positions going to get holidays? What's that about? Marvin Harrison Jr. with a couple sick catches in this game. But the Cardinals, 4-4, sure, that whole division is 4-4, except the Rams are 3-4. Arizona, San Francisco, Seattle, in LA. So that's going to be fun down the stretch. And the Cardinals have a little something there. Just keep Kyler healthy. Dolphins, pretty brutal one for them, getting back in the realm of this season. Patriots beat the Jets. Ooh. You only knew if you saw our JM football hot takes coming for the weekend. Yep. Poppy Gordo had it. Because the Jets are still the Jets, man. I'm sorry. If you were going to trade for Devontae, you should have done it earlier. Firing their coach, that hasn't solved much up until this point. And maybe it would have helped to keep him around, because maybe you don't lose to the Patriots. And Drake May leaves and Brissett comes in, and you give up a final drive to lose it. Jets are jetsing, and it's tough to watch, or it's beautiful to watch if you're a hater. Falcons. Kirky, 4 TD passes. The final score looks a little closer than this game was. The Falcons were pretty dominant throughout this one. The connection Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney has going on, pretty cool. You knew Kyle Pitts was going to have a good day on National Tight Ends Day, although he almost has one of those goal line celebrating too early If you had some better replay angles, he might have got as Winfield clips him at the goal line. Instead, luckily it gets to be forgotten. Falcons are 5-3. With the Buccaneers injuries to their wideouts. Everything I talked about wideouts earlier. I mean, no Godwin, no Mike Evans for them. That changes their whole season outlook. That I think Atlanta's going to run away with that division now, which some people thought before the year. New Orleans, remember their 2-0 start? Now 2-6. Carolina, worst team in the league. Tampa Bay, fighting with their arms behind their back now without Godwin and Evans. I expect Atlanta to run away with that division, and that Kirk Cousins, remember when that contract number came out and everyone got scared? Remember they signed Penix and everyone drafted Penix and everyone was like, what the hell? Remember they turned down Belichick? Pretty nuts. And it's all of it outside of Penix, because we haven't seen anything yet, is looking like the right move. I guess Penix could be really wrong if they make the playoffs and you could have another first-round talent on the field. We'll find out over the next decade. Brutal for the Bucs. Their rushing game was pretty good too, but now you're just missing two weapons. Packers beat the Jaguars 30-27. Good uniform game in this one. A lot of good uniforms around the league. The Bucs in the creamsicle unis. There was another one. The Bengals in the all whites. Those were pretty nice. Some good back and forth late with the Jaguars getting back into this game. Trevor Lawrence making a couple big throws. Malik Willis comes in. Jordan Love gets hurt again, and he kind of looks fine. Josh Jacobs didn't realize how big of a day he had. 127, 2 touchdowns. Kind of that good current day NFL action of like, hey, if there's a little bit of time on the clock, that can be a lot of time. They got the one big play they needed. They kicked the field goal. Packers 6-2. Sure. Jags 2-6. Not sure. Texans, they beat the Colts 23-20. This game had a bit of chaos in it. Some potential goal line return to take the lead. The guy was clearly down, but it was just one of those moments of, oh my God, red zone was really cooking for a minute. Colts dropped to 4-4. Texans are 6-2. Anthony Richardson, 10 for 32. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He becomes a storyline for a couple reasons. A, that stat line is ridiculous. B, he openly admitted to pulling himself out of the game for being tired, which you don't see quarterbacks do that because you kind of can't. The NFL world was blown up on that one because you can't do that. You're the quarterback. Like, that's a sacred thing. I know running is a part of your game, and he was scrambling. He also had 6 carries for 45 yards, but it can't happen. It was a big third down for them. That if you're going to be that guy, especially with Joe Flacco lurking, and like Joe Flacco has kind of looked good the past couple times he's been on an NFL field. They were talking about the message that sends to the whole team. It's a little bit of insanity. You cannot do that.
One thing to be, hurt.
Right. Like if you got a stinger and you're like, I need to come off for a minute. Just natural fatigue. Pivot point for the Colts season as they go to 4-4, have their quarterback do that. Very interested to see the next steps for them. Texans, 13 wins, maybe first playoff game loss. I'm going to keep hammering that. Chargers beat the Saints, and that's obvious. Saints are really struggling right now. Chargers were really clicking. Ladd McConkey, maybe not just a slot receiver. A couple big catches, 6 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Go Chargers, go. Bills, they dominate the Seahawks. I thought this might be a tricky little trap game. I was listening to some people say the Seahawks, their offense is doing some really advanced stuff. No. Bills come out and drop the hammer on them. Cook looks really good. Allen getting it to all of his targets. Another case of like, do you need the star receiver? Khalil Shakir has been really good for them. 100 yards receiving. Keon Coleman. Some dominant games for the young guy. And Dalton Kincaid. on National Tight Ends Day with the touchdown. Bills. If there was a team I'd have to rethink my Ravens Super Bowl pick with, I think it would be the Bills and just that storyline coming to fruition. Chiefs, maybe they're the team, and everyone's overthinking it because they're undefeated. They're 7-0. They beat the Raiders. And again, what's kind of been every Chiefs game this year, like it's not super pretty, but they win 27-20. Mahomes, 2 touchdowns. Everyone's looking for the crazy Mahomes game. Like, when's he going to have 300 yards or 4 touchdowns? It's coming soon. Well, Buccaneers next week. I think it's Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. Don't be surprised if it's then for them to announce themselves as they have the win streak that I sniffed out earlier in the season. They've got Buccaneers-Broncos both at home. It's setting up for a massive game. November 17th, Bills in Buffalo. Win streak on the line. That is going to be an electric scene. I think there was rumors of a Joe's goes to that game. Might have to reset that up. Commanders and Bears. Oh my. The game everyone's talking about. We didn't know if my guy Jaden Daniels would be playing in this one. Comes out before the game. He is. So you've got the 1 and 2 picks out there. Commanders somewhat commanded this game, but a lot of field goals. Bears kind of were getting nothing put together until they get something. Pass interference on Keenan Allen in the end zone sets them up. They score the touchdown. They go up 15-12 to take the 3-point lead. That's always some pretty scores around the league. 15-12. The Saints opened up with a safety that they were at 2 for a little bit. I think one game was at 5-2. That's always a funny one. That, hey, the Bears are going to do it. Caleb, he's had a couple of these where his game in general has kind of been a dud, but it set themselves up enough in those final moments. Jaden Daniels, they take the play before the play. They take the cheap yards. There's like 7 seconds on the clock that they just do one of the quick wide receiver outs to make it a much more attainable Hail Mary. That one has to be filled with a little bit of regret in Bears land today. But the bigger one, Hail Mary. Jaden Daniels scrambles around for a while. I think it was 13, 14 seconds. Tosses it up there, 65 yards. Was going to land right around the goal line-ish where the pile of men is jumping at it is around the 2-yard line. And it's the easiest Hail Mary catch you ever seen. Just tipped gently into Noah Brown's hands, sending Washington and the whole DMV area into pure chaos as the Commanders are now 6-2, 4-0 at home. And man, Tyreek Stevenson, whose name is very popular last night and today, he's in defensive back mode. He's taunting the stands. He's not even looking at the play when it begins. And he ends up being the guy that the ball tips off his hand and is caught so very easily in the back of the end zone. Man, I was circling through all the thoughts because, people are posting different stuff. And the dynamics of the Hail Mary, we think we know decently, but supposedly, he was supposed to be man-to-man on Noah Brown. Well, you're supposed to have the guy behind the play to knock down the second ball and a guy in front of the play. I don't know everything. I know I was sitting there on my couch thinking about prime Belichick. If this happened to someone on his team, would he cut him? Depends your level of importance. I was wondering how dramatic that was. Tony Dungy said he should be suspended. I was like, that's interesting. Suspending your own player sends a message. It is interesting for this young Bears team. What do you do? Because that's about as unacceptable as it gets. It was one of those times, I'm in a lot of group chats, flex, but not a flex. It's too much. But, a lot of stuff gets sent, and sometimes you just don't click stuff. You're like, I'm not going to watch this. That was something that got replied to twice in the group chat. It was like, you need to watch this because it's as unacceptable as it gets. So for this young Bears team trying to build something, trying to build an identity, trying to, reshape this franchise that's never really had a quarterback, very interested to see how they handle this. And there's a lot of moving parts. How is the locker room? How is this guy respected in the locker room? How does he normally handle his business? He came out with an apology tweet right after. So I don't know. If you have a unified locker room and they believe in that guy, and this is his one mistake, you can get past that. You could get through it. You can galvanize and get stronger. If this is a guy that needed a lesson learned, he got one, and I would continue the lesson, whether that's a suspension, Tony Dungy's words. He was a second-round pick for them, plays a lot that I don't, cutting a guy like that. And how much does that hurt your defense that's really good? And how much does that send a message for the next 3 years, the next 5 years, however long Caleb Williams is there? I don't know. But an insane moment for Washington fans, and what builds for hopefully a cool Caleb Williams and Jalen Daniels storyline for the next many years, hopefully. And with that, we end on Sunday Night Football. The Niners and George Kittle on National Tight End Day. Turns out he's the guy that invented the holiday. He's like the Santa Claus of National Tight End Day. Would have liked to known that before the game for gambling purposes. He has a big game. Niners look good. Cowboys somehow make it tight and scary late. CeeDee Lamb and Dak click at the end. But before that, it was nothing. They got the ball back with another chance to drive. But that final drive, they couldn't do anything. Niners are 4-4. No one's run away in their division. They need to get healthy. I think they've got a game and then their bye week. Or maybe it's bye week, then game. So if they can get healthy, the Niners can rejoin the conversation this season. And if you believe in good franchises, you probably believe in that. Enjoy the baseball game tonight. Enjoy the baseball game tomorrow. We will talk to you Wednesday. Hopefully I'm very chipper. Hopefully I'm talking about a 2-2 series game that I'm going to the game that night. If not, I don't know if I can go. So a lot of moving parts. Thank you, everyone. Make sure you're subscribed. Uncle Dan.
Talkin Jake is a production of Dan Patrick Productions, John Boy Media, and Workhouse Media.